Happening now, the results are in for New York State's first primary election of the year, giving way to the matchup for this fall's contest for governor. And we hear from a group of Lakewood residents speaking out about a nuisance neighbor in their community. Plus, the push to crack down on fentanyl dealers and what additional legal action could be launched against those dealing drugs.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The two frontrunners in New York's race for governor came out on top last night, winning their respective parties' endorsement. In the Democratic primary, Kathy Hochul beat back primary challengers from New York City's elected public advocate Huaman Williams and U.S. Rep. Tom Suzuki, a moderate from Long Island. As for the GOP race, U.S. Representative Lee Zeldin won the Republican Party's nomination. He defeated Westchester County Executive Rob Astorino, businessman Harry Wilson, and Andrew Giuliani. Zeldin has focused his campaign on rising crime and criticized Governor Hochul for not toughening the state's bail laws, for imposing COVID-19 mitigation mandates, and for rising costs. And despite Hochul seeking to project a fresh start from former Governor Andrew Cuomo, Zeldin has referred repeatedly to the Cuomo-Hochul administration.
See, Kathy Hochul, she's in over her head. She's a walking identity crisis, to be honest. She's been pandering to a far left in this state. She was concerned about her primary today, and because of that, when the tax and spend liberals controlling Albany, when the pro-criminal liberals controlling Albany were insisting on policies that would take our state in the wrong direction, Kathy Hochul didn't stand up and lead them. Instead, she got led by the far left. She willingly got rolled by them.
The Long Island congressman will try to become the first Republican elected to governor in New York since Governor George Pataki was re-elected in 2002. Homeowners in the village of Lakewood are speaking out and demanding action to address disturbances in their relatively quiet neighborhood. Our Alyssa Wright joins us live in studio with more on this growing issue. Alyssa?
Justin, a group of residents voiced their concerns about illegal activities at two houses on Ohio Street and Pennsylvania Avenue this week in Lakewood, calling on local officials to take action.
We have massive amounts of problems from two houses in the neighborhood with years and years of complaints. And they have done over $25,000 worth of damage in the last 18 months. This has gone on, like I said, for more than 30, and I think all the residents are at the point where we're fed up and we're frustrated, and we want answers.
Currently, the petition has dozens of signatures and is continuing to grow.
There's been excessive profanity, there's been drug use, both on the buying and selling side. There's been domestic violence. There was a high-speed pursuit a few months back that ended up on the street. On top of that, we've also experienced just regular violence between the tenants, and we've also experienced theft from tenants that were there.
In the end, residents just want the criminal activity to stop.
Everybody deserves to have some tranquility, and they deserve to have some peace, and obviously these are all taxpayers, so we want a resolution.
Unfortunately, the solution doesn't seem to be as simple as residents had hoped for.
People have their personal space rights. Otherwise, if that was the case, we could access anybody's single-family home.
The town's code enforcer explains that the new policies and regulations are getting hard to keep up with, especially with a staffing shortage.
The thing that people have to realize is it seems like anymore every street has violations on it. We try to do it where we only react to complaint forms now, because we have all day just doing property maintenance issues. And I feel that we do need a regionalized housing court. Local courts, it's tough to get people in front of.
Now, I did reach out to the Village of Lakewood police chief to see if the properties are on law enforcement's radar and if they plan to take any criminal actions against those living there. Officials have yet to return our request for comment. Justin?
All right, Alyssa, we'll of course continue to stay on this. Thank you. A motorcyclist was injured following a late-night crash on Fairmount Avenue. The Lakewood Fire Department was dispatched to a reported car versus motorcycle accident in the area of Fairdale and Fairmount Avenues around 10 o'clock on Monday. When crews arrived on scene, EMS personnel provided immediate medical care to that victim. The man, who was not identified, was taken to UPMC Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The Lakewood Fire Department was assisted by the Chautauqua County EMS, Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office, and Lakewood Bustine Police Departments. And a 21-year-old Casadega man is accused of facilitating the exchange of marijuana between two teenagers and then encouraging them to fight. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of Jordan Torito on Tuesday. The incident, deputies said, happened earlier in June at a location in the town of Ellicott. After his arrest this week, Torito was released with an appearance ticket for endangering the welfare of a child. Well, now let's switch gears here and get a first check of our weather forecast today. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us with that and a live look over Chautauqua Lake. I know that'll be a busy spot for folks come this holiday weekend.
Yes, it will be. We've got a lot of stuff going on this holiday weekend, so we already have this out on the lake. Now, Justin, what's the technical name for the seaweed eater doohickey?
You know what's so ironic? Lake Harvester, and I'm actually I'm going to see them in about an hour from now for a story tomorrow. How funny.
So isn't that just ironic how one just happens to appear on the camera? But yeah, that's the seaweed harvester that's out on the lake trying to capture some of the seaweed out there right now. But the clouds have started to build in. Now, there is some rain across the Niagara Peninsula, but notice how a lot of this is starting to fall apart, but we are not going to rule out the chance for at least an isolated shower through the afternoon hours, but we should remain mostly dry. If you're like me, the allergies have just been terrible. Tree, grasses, mold, all up there. The ragweed pollen's still low, but those are your culprits right there. I mean, I feel you. I mean, you know, I have terrible allergies myself. So 69 was the high yesterday, started the day at a crisp 49, 97, and 44 are the records. So through the afternoon, partly to mostly sunny, a small chance for that afternoon shower, but milder 72 to 80 with a southwest wind. But the heat and humidity go up from here. We'll talk about that along with a preview of the holiday weekend coming up in just a few minutes. Justin?
Alrighty, Dakota, we'll see you back in a bit. As we roll along, look at the new alert system coming to Jamestown, what residents need to know to sign up. And later, ways to keep your furry friends calm and collected during fireworks and other holiday activities this weekend. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
What is going on, my New York friends? My understanding is that you're in school for a little bit longer than most people, but I got some good news for you. Where are you going to be on September 10th? In Jamestown, New York, with me at 7 o'clock at the Reglena Theater, and you can get your tickets at reglena.com, REGLENNA.com. Make sure that you grab those now. It's going to be so much fun. Jamestown, New York, September 10th. Come and have fun with me.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Stay fire safe this summer. Only use grills outdoors, away from siding and deck railings. Clean grills often and remove grease or fat buildup. Make sure your gas grill lid is open before lighting. Have a 3-foot safe zone around grills and campfires. Keep kids and pets clear of the area. Dispose of coals after they cool in a metal can. Never leave grills, fire pits, and patio torches unattended. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov.
Brought to you by the Chautauqua Safety Village and the Jamestown Fire Department.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Well, we know news never sleeps, which is why the city of Jamestown are rolling out a new alert system to keep residents informed. Our Bronson Rasmussen has more on what this will look like.
First introduced by Mayor Eddie Sundquist and taking inspiration from other municipalities, the system will send notifications to residents of the city.
And this is the first time the city's really working on connecting directly to our residents to let people know in real time what's happening.
In the form of text messages, emails, and in-app notifications, the alerts will cover a variety of topics.
We want to be able to provide emergency alerts as well as informational alerts to all the people that live and work in the city of Jamestown.
The messages aren't limited to communications from City Hall, but will include announcements from other city agencies as well.
So our intention right now is to look at road closures, emergency alerts, whether that's police or fire. We'll probably also include some information from BPU as it impacts maybe your water, your sewer, or other potential lines. The options are really limitless.
In the coming days, residents will receive information in the mail on how to sign up for the system.
Anyone can sign up for it at this point. However, we don't have a sign up yet. We're working on it. We'll send out information. Most likely, we'll do some mailing, and we'll also do some online and push out some press.
The system will be installed by Alert Media out of Austin, Texas. The cost of the service is $4,900 a year for up to 400 members, with 20 cents per member over 400. For this year, a budget will be $2,450. Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
The Buffalo Bills and Sabres co-owner Kim Pegula is progressing well after rehabilitating from a health issue she experienced earlier this month. The family said in a statement that Pegula is resting, while adding that they're grateful for the medical professionals providing her care and everyone who has sent their prayers and well wishes. The family would not say whether Pegula remains in intensive care in a Florida hospital or specifically the medical issue, asking everyone to please respect their privacy. The statement is the first update we've had on her health in 2 weeks. When the family first revealed she was receiving medical care for what is called some unexpected health issues. Kim Pegula was hospitalized shortly after celebrating her 53rd birthday. She is the wife of Terry Pegula, who turned his natural gas fortune into a Buffalo sports empire, while her serving as the voice and face of ownership. Well, this week, Republican lawmakers in Pennsylvania are taking aim at drug dealers who supply fentanyl-laced drugs resulting in overdoses. The legislative initiative is being led by State Senator and Republican nominee for governor Doug Mastriano. Mastriano hosted several people who are in recovery, addiction specialists, and family members who's lost loved ones. Those advocates for harsher penalties say the average sentence in PA is just a few years for dealers who supply drugs with fentanyl, resulting in a fatal overdose.
And this crisis is killing our children at record levels. When over 100,000 people die from a poison, that is a weapon of mass destruction.
Senate Bill 1295, known as Tyler's Law, would increase the minimum sentence to 25 years for dealers charged with a fatal fentanyl overdose. Senate Bill 1125, meanwhile, would require EMS agencies and law enforcement to report overdoses with 72 hours. And as all of us deal with the effects of inflation, local farmers have been especially hit hard. Agriculture is the biggest sector of our region's economy, and costs of everything from fuel to fertilizer to seed are all up. So farmers are continuing a strong summer growing season to recoup a costly investment from their spring planting. WNY News Now's Ethan Kibbe continues the story.
With summer haying season now in full swing, Beth Robinson is working 20-hour days at Mabin Farms outside Wattsburg. She's banking on a strong crop yield.
You don't have to go to a casino to gamble when you're a farmer.
But she's not getting rich from all her hard work. She's just trying to get by.
It's really hard. Things just aren't like they used to be, not like things were easy before, but with the way prices go up and without having any kind of relief on that to get away from it, it's hard to keep going.
Fertilizer costs have tripled in the last 2 years, and diesel prices doubled since last summer. Simply tending a field of hay or corn now costs a fortune, and there's no guarantee of a return on investment.
It's hard to think that you don't know what milk price, beef price, what the seed is going to do, or when you go to sell grain, you can't even guarantee if that's going to be worth your time.
So far, most crops are doing well, but even one bad field is a big financial hit. There's an old adage in farming that corn should be knee-high by the 4th of July. And this crop is well ahead of schedule because it sits in good soil. But other crops were washed out earlier this year, leaving farmers scrambling.
One field could look really good because it was planted at the right time. We got the right weather, and the next field there'd be big wet holes where there was water standing and you had to plant around. It's all a weather game.
So as small farms around hers close, Robinson finds a way to keep going. But she says the current economic climate is one of the hardest she's ever dealt with, and family farmers all over the region are being pushed to the brink.
Why? Why are we doing this? Why do we put ourselves through this every day? But when it's been what you've been around your whole life, or what you've always dreamed of doing, you don't have a choice in how you feel. It's just how it is.
WNY News Now's Ethan Kibbe reporting. Ethan, thank you. Now, further complicating the problem is a part shortage and soaring repair prices, too. If farm equipment breaks down, mechanics might not be able to get replacement parts, and even if they can, that cost has skyrocketed. It's yet another blow to farmers who were already working with razor-thin margins. Coming up, the loud bangs of fireworks might be exciting for some, but for pets, it's a whole new story. Some tips on how to keep your furry friends comfortable during this 4th of July. But first, when we come back, a full look at our weather forecast. Stay right there.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to start off with a live look from the HD News Now cam, and the clouds have really started to build in across the southern tier right now. As of noon hour, we're at 70 degrees, mostly cloudy skies being reported at the airport, and it is a bit breezy, northwest wind of 17, but at least we're not going to be dealing with the wind gusts like we had dealt with over the past couple of days. Now, today, if you do have a beach trip planned or you do want to get out on the lake, it won't be as breezy though. Southwest winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 1 to 3 feet. The water water temperatures 70 off Buffalo and 71 off Erie. Today also would not be a bad day to get out on the golf course if you do have a tee time scheduled. 75 at 2, 77 at 4, 75 at 6. Now, there will be a small chance for an isolated shower, mainly between the 2 and 4 p.m. time frame. That looks like the better chance for at least a small shower, but otherwise we should remain mainly dry. Tarp Skunks play tonight. They are taking on the Newark Pilots tonight at 6:30. So 75 at the first pitch, 72 at the 7th inning stretch, and 75 by the 9th inning. We should be mainly dry, but again, there could be at least a small sprinkle to start, but then it turns partly cloudy through the overnight hours and especially or game time. Now, the humidity, as we've been talking about, is going to continue to rise through the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we go into the humid category. By Friday, we'll be muggy, and that'll be at least the peak of the heat and the humidity. We back it down a little bit for Saturday, and then we'll be back into that pleasant category for Sunday. First Defense Doppler radar is picking up on some rain showers over Lake Erie and the Niagara Peninsula, but as we mentioned, a lot of this is falling apart as it moves in, but we are not going to rule out the chance for at least a isolated shower or two, and it's all sparked out ahead of the next front. This is a weak front that's going to be moving on through, so it's not going to produce much in the way of cooling, as a matter of fact. So the newest Runner Future Scan picks up on a couple of those little isolated showers through the afternoon hours, again, mainly between the 2 and 4 p.m. time frame. Then it turns partly cloudy through the evening hours and through the overnight hours, and went too far there. Let's go back to that, and then by tomorrow will be mainly sunny. Now the next 7 days, it was too busy to get up there. Powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So 84 degrees tomorrow with a lot of sunshine. We do bring in a chance for a few storms on Friday. Better coverage on Saturday. Sunday looking nice. 4th of July itself should be nice. We should be dry for the fireworks as well. But we do bring in a chance for a couple isolated showers, Justin, by next Tuesday.
All righty, Dakota, thank you very much. Around the nation, and in a surprise addition to the schedule, the House January 6th committee held their hearing on Capitol Hill yesterday. The panel previously indicated there would be no more hearings until July. However, that committee met to hear testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson. She's the former senior aide to then-President Donald Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, who revealed new details about the lead-up and what took place during the Capitol riot, including behavior towards his staff.
The president had very strong, very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
A spokesperson for the Secret Service was asked about Hutchinson's testimony about President Trump allegedly lunging at that detail officer. Officials said in part that the agency is cooperating with the Select Committee investigation, including, quote, responding on the record to the committee regarding the new allegations surfaced in today's testimony. And Jeffrey Epstein's former associate will spend time behind bars for her role in sex trafficking minors. Tuesday, Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison following her conviction last year. She was found guilty of carrying out a years-long scheme with Epstein to sexually abuse underage girls. Epstein was indicted on federal sex trafficking charges back in 2019, but committed suicide in prison. Tuesday, the judge says Maxwell was not punished in place of Epstein, but for her role in part of these crimes. Now, Maxwell did apologize to the victims after their impact statements were heard in court, saying she hoped her conviction brings them closure. And abortion rights supporters are moving their protests from the Supreme Court to now the homes of Supreme Court justices. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Rachel Knapp followed one of those protests outside of Justice Samuel Alito's home.
If we don't get it, shut it down! In a quiet neighborhood in Alexandria, Virginia, abortion rights supporters are making their voices heard.
No peace for you!
People just want to express their anger, their devastation of the overturn of Roe versus Wade.
Last week's ruling ignited protests from coast to coast. Now abortion rights supporters are taking the protests from the Supreme Court to the homes of Supreme Court justices.
The group of protesters keep marching down the street, trying to pass by Justice Samuel Alito's home several times.
Outside of this march, protesters plan to march in front of the homes of the 4 justices who agreed with Alito in overturning Roe, which include Justices Clarence Thomas, Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett.
No privacy for us! No peace for you!
After the draft decision was leaked back in May and a man was charged for attempted murder of Justice Kavanaugh, Congress voted to increase security at their homes. And at this protest, law enforcement officials lined up outside. Protesters tell me they think it's right to protest outside justices' homes.
Direct action is more effective than just standing in front of the Supreme Court. I think protest is meaningful no matter what form of protest you choose, but I highly encourage you find ways to take direct action, whether that be going to Senate office buildings, going straight to Congress, going straight to the White House.
A couple of Alito's neighbors who didn't want to go on camera tell me they support the march. Another, who also says they support the abortion rights protest, says they just don't like some of the foul language used in some chants, including on some signs, because there's kids in the neighborhood. Despite this ruling, protesters tell me they'll continue fighting for abortion rights. In Alexandria, Virginia, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Next, some tips to help keep our furry friends happy and safe this 4th of July.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights,
Vests.
please give us some room.
slow down. Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger. This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down.
Slow down.
And move over.
move over.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Well, the 4th of July is always a big day for barbecues and fun, but as you enjoy the holiday weekend, make sure you're taking care of your pets who might not be as excited about it as you are. In today's Health Minute, Britt Conway brings us some easy ways to make sure they are safe and comfortable.
If you're planning on hosting a backyard barbecue this 4th, or maybe you live in a neighborhood that's known for setting off fireworks, Best Friends Animal Society, a national animal welfare organization, has a few tips to keep your furry family members safe. First, make sure you bring your animals inside when those fireworks start going off. Put them in a secure room with some comforting toys. Maybe put on the TV or play some music to help drown out the sound from outside. Consider a thunder shirt. It applies gentle pressure around a pet's torso. It can help with anxiety and stress. And if you're going to give them medication, make sure it's prescribed by a vet and pay attention to the dosage. Do not play with things like sparklers around your pets. Not only could they get burned, they're toxic if ingested. Always keep alcohol and other harmful human foods out of reach of your pets. Before the festivities even begin, double check that your pet is wearing a collar and identification tags with your contact information in case they get out. And finally, if Fido does get out, make sure you have a plan in place that includes using social media and checking local shelters to find them. Being prepared this holiday weekend can go a long way in making sure everyone in your family has a good time. For today's Health Minute, I'm Britt Conway.
Great tips there, Britt, for sure. Thank you. That's it for us today. We're back here tomorrow. Have a great day.